You know, ladies and gentlemen, there's an old adage in movies, when the title has an exclamation point at the end, be warned, the movie could be not as good as the exclamation point. But in this case, it was just as good as the exclamation point, and were it not for the lead star, if that was a normal up-and-coming actor doing Charro, he would have got great reviews, but because it's Elvis Presley, people thought, oh, it's just another movie, but it's probably one of his best acting in his career. Now, Charro, exclamation point, is a 1969 American Western starring Elvis, shot on location at Apache Land Movie Ranch in the old Tucson studios in Arizona. This was Presley's only film in which he did not sing on screen. The film featured no songs and at all other than the main title theme, which was played over the opening credits. It was also the only movie where Presley wore a beard. The film was novelized by Harry Whittington. Now, directed and screenplay by Charles Marquis Warren, story by Frederick Louis Fox, produced by Warren, co-starring Ina Balin and Victor French of Little House on the Prairie fame, cinematography by Ellsworth Fredericks, edited by Al Clark, of course music by the great Hugo Montenegro. This production company was Natural General, who distributed it. Came out March 12, 1969, running time 98 minutes, and made $1.5 million at the box office. Now the plot is very straightforward. Now Ina Balin, Victor French, Barbara Worley, and Solomon Sturgis co-starred. Final film for director Charles Marquis Warren, again who also produced and wrote it. It was also the only Presley film distributed by National General Pictures, or NGP. The film made a profit but was not a runaway success as predicted, and remains one of Presley's least seen films, despite being regarded among his best in terms of his acting. Now, in the movie, Jesse Wade, a former member of a gang of outlaws led by Vince Hackett, is led to believe that an old flame, Tracy Winters, wants to meet him in a seedy Mexican saloon. Jess sees Billy Roy Hackett, Vince's younger brother, summoning Vince and the other members of the gang into the saloon, and realizes it's been set up. Jess orders the bar patrons to leave before a shootout ensues. Making a break for the door, Jess is stopped by Gunner, another gang member, and is forced to relinquish his gun to go with them to their hideout in the mountains. Vince later tells him that the gang has stolen a gold-plated cannon that was used by Emperor Maximilian in his ill-fated fight against popular Mexican leader Benito Juarez. Vince informs him that a wanted poster has been produced. It says that Jess is in the gang who stole the cannon and has sustained a neck wound as a result of being shot by one of the guards. Ordering his men to subdue Jess on the ground, Vince uses a branding iron to burn his neck. They take his horse, leaving him stranded. He captures a wild horse in the desert and Saddle breaks it. The gang's motive is to force a ransom from the town they stole the cannon from, but the gang also used the cannon to hold townspeople at bay. Only Jess can save the people from his former gang. Now, like I said, Elvis in this movie is not playing Elvis. It's a very, very interesting performance. What was ironic here, ladies and gentlemen, a young James Sicken of Hill Street Blues fame plays one of the key supporting characters. Now, Victor French, again, is quite good in this. Now, the role of Jess Wade was originally offered to Clint Eastwood, who turned it down. The budget for the movie was estimated at $1.5 million. Working titles for the film included Jack Valentine, Johnny Hang, and Come Hell or Come Sundown. That's a good title. You should use that. Presley signed up for the project with high hopes after reading the serious song-free script, but was left disappointed when he arrived for the first day of shooting on July 22nd, 1968, to find the script he had originally signed up for had been changed beyond recognition. Now, according to published reports, they felt that making Elvis a true hero and not an anti-hero would be better go. But the original opening scene, which was to feature female nudity, was dropped in favor of a more gentle bar scene. They tried to make it like a spaghetti western style. Now, the story of Charro, which is written by Frederick Louis Fox, contained many violent scenes that were dropped for the film altogether. Harry Whittington based his novelization Charro on Fox's story and included the scenes that Warren deemed too violent for the film. A scene which featured Ina Balin nude climbing from a bath was also removed. Again, location Apache Junction and Apache Land Movie Ranch. Now, the film, although successful, was not received as well as Presley's previous films. Many of Presley's fans were put off by the lack of songs, and critics were generally unimpressed with the film as a whole. Despite this, the movie made a good profit, and Presley, get this, received $850,000, ladies and gentlemen, which is like, I don't know, $20 million now. Now, Roger Greenspun in New York Times wrote of Presley's performance. He treats his part rather as a minor embarrassment, and he seems determined not to push himself in a role that could have used a stronger personality to fill the lapses in the story and the wide open spaces in the dialogue. Variety wrote that Presley strolls through a tedious role that would have driven many actors up the wall. Even more at fault than Presley, who has occasionally responded in the past to the demands of a good director, is Charles Markey Warren, who takes credit or blame for the script, the direction, and even part of production. Now, Kevin Thomas of the LA Times wrote that in the film, Presley sings nary a note, which is too bad. A song or two, though arguably inappropriate, would have helped to relieve the tedium of the strike low-budget Western that has quick sail-to-TV stamped all over it. And to be quite honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't seen Charro much on TV in recent years. That's just me. Maybe in the States it's different, let me know. Now, a plot that might suffice for 30 minutes of restless entertainment has been stretched to a some equivalent 98 minutes. Now, Alan Isles of the Monthly Film Bulletin wrote, unfortunately, Charro was fatally undermined by the slack staging of his action highlights and a plot riddled with irrational behavior and dialogue. As if to compensate for the film's lack of impact, Montenegro's lively but over-attentive score does too much underlying of mood and character. Now, in June '68, Presley had already completed sequences of recorded songs for what would be his comeback television special and his intended album Elvis, that put his musical talents back on display after the long slog of the soundtrack years. During the special, Presley erroneously states he had made 29 pictures up to that time. The actual tally was 28 at taping. Charro would be his 29th. At the time the special was aired in December, Presley had completed his 30th film, The Trouble with Girls and How to Get Into It. Less said about that than anything else. Now, with confidence and enthusiasm restored, Presley turned to musical obligations for Charro. Appropriately for a Western, the studio hired Hugo Montenegro to produce the two songs intended for the film. The recording session taking place at Samuel Goldwyn's studio in Hollywood on October 15, '68 went fast. The title song appeared in the movie during the opening credits and was released commercially on February 25, '69 as the B-side to RCA's Memories, which actually was a very good song, which also appeared in a TV special and album. The other song recorded in the film but not used in it, Let's Forget About the Stars, it appeared on the budget album Let's Be Friends in 1970. The song is erroneously referred to in some sources as an outtake for the soundtrack of the later Presley film, Change of Habit, with Mary Tyler Moore, when he played an autistic doctor. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Charro was co-written by Mac Davis, just as a shout out to the great Mac Davis. Now, Charro was released on video CD in '96. Charro was then released to DVD in the summer of 2007. It marked the very first time that an uncut release of the film was presented to the retail market in its original widescreen letterbox format. This DVD version underwent an extensive remastering process to restore the original 35mm film print quality. Previous VHS issues of the film, notably the 1990 Warner Home Video release, were an inferior standard, mainly due to poor picture quality and minor edits throughout the movie. An oddity concerning Charro is the film's classification. Despite containing violence and partial nudity, the latter a scene in which Ina Ballin's character is showing exiting a bathtub, it was released with an MPAA-G rating, even though other Presley films of the '69-'68 period carried PG ratings. These later releases are somewhat less adult than Charro. Now, again, '69 was a big year for Western. You had True Grit. But Elvis, like I said, he was really good shape coming off the comeback special. But I think it would have been nice as a TV series, and I tell you why. You could do the pilot with the movie and have Elvis. Wouldn't that be great if Elvis would have been episodic TV every week or a miniseries? Elvis did very little television besides the special. He never did any acting on TV, to my knowledge, besides the Frank Sinatra, Welcome Home special. So, for a lot of people who have seen this movie, they talk good about it. I haven't seen it again in full. I've seen it in pieces. Now, I did see 10 minutes of it on the French TVA channel from Quebec back in the day, because it used to show Elvis movies on Sunday afternoons. That was a great treat, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But I saw the last 10 minutes because we had come home late from a matinee, actually, on a Sunday. And we turned on the TV, and there was Elvis. And Dad said, oh, that's the Charro Western. And he said maybe one day we can rent it. I think it was late 70s. But I know the VHS cut of it, or what he called the print, is terrible. Go for the DVD. But again, Elvis Presley playing a Western hero, more than given more than a shot. It's that good for the Elvis fans. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing with our Elvis podcast, and also a tribute to the 1960 and 70 westerns we've been doing in recent weeks, including ones by John Wayne and Burt Reynolds, let us know to like, comment, subscribe, or share, or super chat. And don't forget, this is an Elvis channel. Any requests for the King are greatly appreciated and highly, highly considered. Thanks for listening. Bye.